What is 3D printing?
My name is Ben Cox. I'm a part-time engineer down here in the basement of the Morgridge Institute for Research. I work in the fabrication lab. We have lots of fabrication equipment. We do a lot of 3D printing, which I'll talk about in this video. We also do a lot of other standard manufacturing. We have a laser cutter, and we're a resource for people around campus who want to get things made. 3D printing refers to a whole type of manufacturing where a part is built up layer by layer. Whereas in typical machining, you take a block of material and subtract away. With additive manufacturing or 3D printing, you start with nothing and you add it layer by layer. So you slice the part and create the 2D slices, stack it up until you have a final part. There's a lot of ways to create files for 3D printing. The most common by far is modeling with computer software. And this is a good point too. You need a file before you can 3D print something. Today we're going to look at the FDM, the Fused Deposition Modeling Printer. And what that does is it takes corded plastic like you might see in a weed whacker or something at home. And it takes spools of this plastic and it pulls it through the machine, heats it up, and extrudes it through a tiny die. And so that die makes a tiny little filament. And it lays out that filament in lines to create a layer of plastic. And then it moves up and creates another layer of plastic. The other thing that people are kind of striving towards is 3D printing of tissue. And so right now they're pretty good at making different tissues in layers, but it's hard to get tissue to live and behave exactly how you want it to behave when you start stacking layers of tissue. NASA's actually really interested in this too, because they want to be able to print food so that there's not much packaging waste. And so the idea there would be in space to print exactly the nutrients that each astronaut would need. It might not taste the best, but they wouldn't have packaging waste. But anything that you can melt and extrude through a die, you can use in these printers. So it's not always plastic, but the technique typically, at least in industry for the last little while, has been with extruded plastic.